Hi, I'm Vanarex, and this is Peaches the Warhorse, and it's episode 21, the final episode of Amish Paradise Season 1. This is the most important episode because we're going to review everything we did from day one. We had a ton of fun, no doubt, but to get the most out of our experience, we need to bring a critical eye to our work, and the best way to do that is to have a close look at what we did. We started when version 1.7 had just come out, amplified with something brand new, and I thought it would be great fun. And it was. Gameplay was much more challenging and the rewards that much more satisfying. All the new biomes were awesome, but we never did find jungle. Jungle does exist in Amplified Worlds. I've seen examples from other seeds, but for some reason it just never seemed to show up in this one. I encountered plenty of caves and ravines, but abandoned mines were very rare. I only ever found 3. And I never did find a dungeon. Not a single mob spawner anyplace. Exploration in an amplified world is difficult. All that up and down, man, I just never ended. Once I had my ender farm set up, it became a bit easier as I would use ender pearls to help me get over tough spots. Sometimes though, I'd just give up and mine and bridge straight through the really bad spots. The game is also really buggy on boats. They were constantly smashing into things when visually I thought I was okay. I think part of this problem was the amplified world generating as I explored. My computer just couldn't keep up. As always, exploration with a map in hand is a big pain. I was always waiting to fall to my death because I couldn't see what was in front of me. I did 2 types of mining, branch mining and deep exploration. Both types have their ups and downs. With branch mining, I didn't have to travel far to start mining for diamonds, but if I didn't light it up very well, I could run into real mob problems. On the other hand, deep mining made me have to run back when I was done, but it was much simpler to do. You just get down to y=11, pick a direction, and start mining. Explore caves on the way and get a bunch of easy loot. Of the 2, I think deep mining is the way to go, and I don't think I'll be doing more branch mining anytime soon. Quarrying sandstone is super easy in this game. Deserts are largely composed of sandstone, and since that was our main construction block, at least that was a snap. Mesas are also awesome quarrying spots for hardened clay, and I mined a substantial amount of brown for coating Big Daddy. Boy, did I sure get an education here. My weakest knowledge coming into this was enchanting. I really didn't know much about it and wasted a lot of experience levels in diamonds early on. Eventually I got pretty good at it, especially after I implemented the ender farm. I did some intense reading and discovered how naming enchanted items prevents them from requiring ever-increasing amounts of levels to repair, etc. Enchanting is a really intense subject, and in the future they're going to add lapis lazuli to it, so it's going to get different from what we already know. At least the enchantments that are produced are going to be the same. Efficiency 4, Unbreaking 3 named picks offer the best bang for your buck. And when it's nearly dead, use a regular diamond pick to fully repair it. In the tutorial I did for the Enderman farm, I screwed up. I used 3 diamonds to repair the pick, and some guy wrote in and said, hey, you should have used just a regular diamond pick. It would have repaired it all the way to max, and I went, dope! Before we get to mob farms, let's talk about all the other types of farms. Just to be clear, a farm to me is any construction designed to aid in the obtaining of any item, not just food. I ended up getting all 3 types of food, but I got my carrots and potatoes from zombies because I never found a village in time. Although I had a very nice farm for my needs to begin with, I eventually did end up building a wheat farm and a sugarcane farm. The wheat farm was bigger than I really needed and was more for looks than utility. I went through a lot of sugarcane making maps, books, and trading with villagers, and also a lot of experimentation to make a sugar farm that provided the look and feel I wanted for my island. Animal farms were a big pain, and let's just set aside my animosity for chickens and focus on the more general issue, which was animal escapees. Animals in the game escape pretty easy from a traditional above-ground fenced area, so I ended up digging pits of various depths to keep their escape from messing up the rest of my stuff. However, instead of escaping, they die, and I nearly lost all of my pigs at one point. I don't know what's really driving these problems, but I think I have a good handle on managing it. My villager farm was very successful ultimately. I spent a lot of time educating myself on how to make it, and then a lot more putting it into practice, including losing all my villagers to zombies once. Emeralds for everyone. More importantly, having a villager as a source of glowstone was way less risky than going into the nether for it. Finally, my tree farms were over the top, more for decoration than practicality. They look great, but I could have easily gotten by with a much simpler setup. No regrets though, they really make Big Daddy look super. I built a variety of mob farms. My first one was simple, a big dark room, 3 blocks high. It worked, but it was really dangerous and expensive. Most of my mob deaths occurred here. Later on, I built a fall damage mob farm in Big Daddy, but its position had problems as there were plenty of other places for mobs to spawn. I eventually lit up most of the caverns in my area and above ground dark spots, and while that really increased the drop rate, it was a lot of work. In the future, I think I'll go ahead and build my mob farm up in the air, away from the rest of my build, that I won't have to worry about them being able to spawn anyplace else. I built 2 mob farms in the nether, a blaze farm, which was very easy, and a wither skull farm, which was not. Wither skeletons only spawn in certain areas of nether fortresses, and I spent a lot of time conditioning in nether fortress to maximize the spawn rate. I also started to condition the general area to prevent any other spawning, but the costs both in diamonds and time versus returns on this are insane. Especially because I only ended up needing like 12 skulls to produce 4 beacons, and even then it was a bit more than I really needed. I suppose if I were going to use wither skulls for decoration I would need a lot more, but it might still just be a break-even proposition at best. My most favorite mob farm was my super easy ender farm. It ended up being overall the best source of experience level farming I've ever seen, and I had more ender pearls than I knew what to do with. I will definitely make building one of these a priority next time. The nether was no real challenge. We got super lucky and zoned into a nether fortress right off the bat. Although the lava got me there a couple of times and so did some pigmen, after I got things squared away I was usually pretty safe. I also built a limited transport system there to cut down on the time to and from my ender farm, and that worked great, and I'll be sure to use this technique in the future. This season was the very first time I ever fought the ender dragon, and except for an initial mistake because of a lack of planning, the dragon's really not much of a challenge. I can't believe I played all this time without the ender farm. I'm so stupid sometimes. Creepers are my most hated mob because they blow my stuff up. I suffered from these heinous critters from day one. TNT is nice to have, but the price you pay for it is having to deal with these damnable mobs all the time. Here's a quick montage of some fun moments.
Boom! Well, let's take the loot back to the cave. Left the door open. Shame on you. Oh shit! Oh man. That guy he blew up all my shit. Oh, you dog. Okay. Oh, you bastard. No. Oh, God damn it. Oh my God. Come on. Yes, I am super adept at dealing with creepers. You won't find anyone better than me at this. Freaking creeper. God, I just put this stuff. Don't! Oh, you son of a bitch! God. Oh, son of a bitch. Damn it. Whatever. They broke my door. Wow. Jerks. Oh no. Douche. Creepers. Just got this going. Just got this finished. Suck. What the hell? I never even saw that guy. Oh my god! Yeah, this new setup works great. I just made one entrance point. I mean, look at this. Oh, son of a bitch. See that? Freaking creepers.
All said and done, I died 30 times. According to the statistics in Minecraft, almost half were from mob deaths, but many of my falls were mob related as well, and I even withered away once. The rest were due to simple falls or burning to death. I never starved or drowned, so that's something at least. Here's a montage of the ones I recorded.
Oh my god, what freaking killed me? Oh no, god dang it. I mean, look at that. It's a freaking attack of the chicken zombies. They're everywhere. Oh my god. The chicken zombies got me. Oh man. Yay. Oh, I died. Super. Oh my god. Freaking zombie. Oh no. Oh my god. Oh no, that bitch killed me. Lord. Oh my god. No, the freaking baby zombie killed me, you bastard. Oh no. Nothing I can do. I'm gonna die. Oh no. I gotta get back to this place. Shit. Oh. Oh no. Just like that I died. What the hell? I never even saw that guy. No! Oh my god. Oh no, I died! No!
The island turned out great. I did everything I set out to do, and except for a couple issues, I'm very satisfied with the result. We went from a small island with a few trees on it and some pretty big hills to a massive structure over the course of approximately, I probably put about 300 to 500 hours into this thing. Let's break down the build into each of its parts and discuss the pros and cons of each decision. By the end of the first episode, I'd already decided to build on the island I started in. With any build, you have to decide, where do I stop? With islands, the answer is easy. Where the water starts, you stop. The very steep mountains on it were a challenge. I'd never seen anything so vertical on regular maps, except in extreme highlands. So I really wanted to see if I could make something that dealt with all of these hills. It may seem strange, but the simple choice to have all sidewalks, passageways, and stairs too wide tremendously influenced the entire build. It works like this. If the sidewalk is 2 tiles wide, then the walls need to be 4 wide. Also, to walk on a sidewalk, it has to be at least 2 high. With stairs, the choice is either to use half slabs or full stairs, making the rise over run either 1-to-1 or 1/2, so that also limits choices. Ultimately, it was a combination of these things that led to choosing a basic building block of 3x3, and that informed pretty much the rest of the build. All the sidewalks, except for in the nether tower, were tiled with half slabs to give a total height of 2.5. A height of only 2 is much too oppressive to walk in. You feel like your head's scraping on the ceiling all the time. The tighter passages were fine, but sometimes it felt a little too claustrophobic, and stairways required a lot of extra ceiling work to make things work well. One of the problems I commonly encountered was when I ran downstairs, I would bump into the ceiling at the bottom, and it would shift me back to walking. I never really resolved this problem to my satisfaction, sometimes simply removing a beam to make life easier. I'll need to take this into account in future builds for sure. I used spruce and black oak for the sidewalks, and that turned out to be a great combination with the much lighter sandstone of the rest of the build. Doing a checkerboard was a pain, but the result was more than worth it. Even with all the new materials, there's really only a few choices when it comes to practical building. You can use wood, stone, nether, quartz, or sandstone, or some combination thereof. Each has its ups and downs. After a few episodes, I settled on sandstone and everything flowed from there. Sandstone's biggest constraint are the stairs. With the vanilla texture pack, the stairs have that rocky look like raw sandstone, and I just hate it. I wish they'd alter the texture pack in game to add polished sandstone stairs. The other thing was what I wanted the build to look like. I did not want to build solid walls of sandstone, but instead make a framework of sandstone and then have either air or fence in between all the beams and then back it with some other material. I ended up using hardened clay for this. The effect was outstanding, and this is the largest consistent feature across the entire build. When I first started, I had no idea the mesa biome existed, and when I first saw it, I was startled by the beautiful colors and the very flat texture. I knew right away I wanted to use it, and I started envisioning having the entire island coated with various colors of clay. I'd worked with clay before, but that was mostly for bricks. I considered using other colors, but I did not want to get dragged into having to farm tons and tons of dyes to color everything. Instead, I elected to let the mesa colors limit my choices, and that turned out pretty good. I ended up using a ton of brown coating Big Daddy, but I never had any trouble finding it. I don't know that varying the colors between the different towers had that great of an effect, but I'm glad I did it. I now have some practical experience in these things that I'll take with me moving forward. Wood fences make up an enormous part of this build. I love using fences because of their shape, that finer grid work of detail formed by combining them that no texture could ever replace. I use them everywhere, in every wall, ceiling, and floor in the build. I hope someday fences have different colors. They're such an awesome building material. The current color isn't too bad and went well with the sandstone and colored clays for the rest of the build. Lighting was a problem. It is essential to have a minimum lighting level of 8 to prevent hostile mobs from spawning. So no matter what, there are going to be either torches or glowstones all over the place. I could have certainly foregone adding glowstone in many places, but better safe than sorry, so I ended up using way too much. I chose to use glowstone rather than torches, and I never really did figure out a good way to place them in my build. I generally simply put one in nearly every vertical column, sometimes on the floor, sometimes on the first block, and sometimes on the second block. My fear of hostile mobs spawning overrode my look and feel concerns. I only used lava and fire in a couple spots because, again, I had to be careful my fences didn't catch on fire, which happened more than once. I'd really like to see more choices in light sources, or even some way to suppress hostile mob spawning. Perhaps something like a beacon that you could craft. It would really open things up when it comes to lighting, and things would look way cooler at night. Well, one of these towers is not like the other, or one of these towers doesn't belong. One of the nicest lucky strikes on the island was the discovery of a ground level lava pool located right underneath one of the hills. As soon as I saw it, I knew I'd have to do something cool with it, and I did, building a nether warp over it, and from there decorating it with nether materials. From there I decided to coat the entire tower and make it distinctive from everything else. I think it turned out great, and while it clashes with the rest of the build, I wouldn't change a thing. I was very careful to use the exact same building pattern as I had with the sandstone. Like I said in one video, vary the pattern or vary the materials, but don't vary both. Ultimately, I ended up using the base of the orange tower for my living space. Although I had originally set up my digs near the base of Big Daddy, I ended up moving everything over to the orange tower once I'd finished it to keep them out of the way of the rest of the build. The inventory room provided more than enough space with an enchanting table, semi-automated furnaces, and a couple brewing stands right at hand. I also squeezed in a map room, a mining entrance, and even some purely decorative living quarters all underneath the orange tower. I also managed to get a main road to run right from here all the way out to the gatehouse and from there onto the bridge to the mainland. So everything worked out super. I didn't try to make much of an interior design. I've done that in the past, but wanted to focus more on all the other parts of the build. Functional and utilitarian, that's me. Many of the builds that I've seen are wholly in creative mode. And while that's great, it doesn't really thrill me. I generally use creative mode to prototype things, but I want to build the count for more than just a bunch of blocks thrown together. I like to build things that mesh with the practical problems of survival and the constraints of Minecraft physics and materials. I want all the major structures to have at least some purpose. For example, look at this sugarcane farm. It's fully functional, but it also adds an interesting feature to the perimeter of the island. Or take the tree farms. Coupled with the stairs, wheat farm, and mob farm, they provide nearly all of the sandstone structure on the tower. Still, some things ended up looking goofy, like with the horse pasture on top of the yellow tower, or the beacons located down in the chicken farm. One of the other constraints I placed on myself was the island edge, which I slowly expanded as needed, but agonized over every time because I did not want to lose the original organic look. I'm sure if I'd wanted to work things through a little more, I could have made some more changes and restructured things a bit better, but overall, it's a pretty easy place to work, build, and survive in, and it's also a nice place to just hang out and admire. For the most part, the towers and all of the structures on them are purely for show, with all of the utility buildings down at ground level for easy access. I added plenty of gardens and caverns for decoration. They help to break up the monotony of sandstone and clay walls, add some more color, and generally make things more interesting. I also decorated the nether tower with some lava pools, nether wart gardens, and even a few lava falls, which all turned out great and didn't burn down the rest of the island either. Altogether, this is one of the better builds I've made, and knowing that I made it 100% legit is awesome. I wonder what the next build's going to be like. So what's it like playing by Amish Paradise rules? Why even have rules? Oh man, do not make me whip out my philosophical hat and bore you, and Peaches too. So rather descend down that slippery Socratic slope, let's just keep to answering a simple question for each rule. To what degree did this rule bring a greater sense of fulfillment and challenge to playing? Let's go through the list. Vanilla hard survival. Without a doubt, this is the most important rule. Vanilla hard survival makes every step count. I have to worry about dying and everything that goes into that. Hard makes it a little more challenging. The mobs hit a lot harder for sure. Yep, a lot more fulfilling. No modifications, not even mappers. This one's almost as important as Rule 1. I don't even use texture packs. Now you're saying, why not? Well, I'll tell you why. Because then I don't gotta worry about a lot of overhead, buggy performance, and all that crap. Minecraft has enough issues when it's standalone. Additionally, things like mappers and such make playing too darned easy. So yes, a lot more fulfilling. No pistons, redstone circuits, timers, etc. I've done plenty of stuff like this, from automated farms to automatic doors, etc. But the emphasis in building moves away from art and more towards science and programming. I absolutely did not want to spend a lot of time making redstone circuitry. Besides, there's so many people working so hard to invent crazy stuff, I didn't really think I had much to offer in that area. More fulfilling? Yeah. It helps keep me focused, and who knows, maybe some of my non-redstone solutions will help someone out. No intentional bug exploitation. There are ways to trick the game, and I absolutely don't use them intentionally. Why go to all the trouble of playing survival hard if I'm going to cheat? Fulfilling? Yep. Cautious F3 use. So originally I started with no F3 button at all, and then I switched to I'm going to use it when I really need it to get something right. And okay, I've thought long and hard and argued it up and down, and I'm going to be removing this rule. It was not fulfilling. I like to calculate and do math, but I can't do it if I don't have good numbers to work with, and that's where the F3 button comes in. Because that status information gives me not only my exact coordinates, but it also helps me figure out just what my light condition is. And that is freaking critical with all these mobs running around. It's too bad there's no in-game crafted items that would perform these jobs. I wish there were. I'd use them instead. Adios, Rule 5. Cussing. Now, I really try not to curse very much, but sometimes it just slips out, especially when I get startled or super upset. I don't believe in beeping stuff out, and I'm not trying to come off as some kind of family show. My apologies to all you moms and dads. I try to keep my feelings and play as honestly as possible and let the chips fall where they may. So yeah, honest feelings and honest language are very fulfilling. So there you have it. We've looked at the world, what we did, how we played, and what we accomplished. We touched on some fun highlights and talked a bit about the future. I feel a real sense of accomplishment and look forward to future challenges as we continue to survive, explore, and build our Amish paradise in new worlds to come. May you dream of cubes and find a diamond behind every rock. Salute.